Before we start diving into the story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. It only takes a second, but it will help the channel grow. Thank you for your interest in our channel. I stand on the balcony of my Los Angeles penthouse as the fading sun transforms the sprawling city into a mesmerizing tapestry of vibrant lights and lingering shadows. The orange and pink hues blend seamlessly with the deepening blue of the twilight sky, each tiny glimmer echoing the pulse of countless lives unfolding below. In that suspended moment between day and night, my heart feels weighted by a nameless melancholy while still daring to hope for a welcome distraction. Cradling my phone in one hand, I become momentarily lost in thought until an unexpected chime delivers an invitation to an eccentric art exhibition in the heart of downtown, a promise of unpredictability and a spark of renewal. Before I can dwell on this chance for escape, a firm knock at my door disrupts the silence. I swing the door open to reveal Marcus, my longtime neighbor and confidant, whose recent life has been marred by the sting of a bitter divorce. His eyes, once steady and warm, now shimmer with uncertainty and a quiet sorrow. In a measured tone laden with hesitation, he tells me about a fleeting encounter with an old acquaintance on the street, a brief meeting that seemed to dredge up long-buried memories he'd rather forget. Every word he utters appears heavy with unspoken secrets, his voice trembling as if the past were stealthily encroaching upon our fragile present. I invite him into the softly illuminated living room where the neon glow of the city dances across the walls. Offering him a steaming cup of coffee, I notice a slight tremor in his hand as he accepts, a subtle quiver that speaks louder than any confession. Our conversation flows rapidly, each sentence pushing us deeper into uncharted territory of hidden truths and unresolved feelings. The cool caress of the evening breeze mingles with the warmth inside, amplifying a tension that promises both heartache and revelation. As every moment slips by, the boundary between our carefully constructed lives and the raw pulse of buried emotions blurs, setting the stage for a night that will change everything. In the gentle rustle of the night air, I sense fragments of my past being swept away, replaced by a fragile yet undeniable anticipation of change. Every exchanged glance and weighted word hints that tonight is only the beginning of a journey into depths I never imagined, a journey that will challenge every certainty I once held. The morning broke with a cool, promising light that chased away the lingering shadows of last night's melancholy. An unexpected message awaited me, a heartfelt invitation to revisit the old winery where I once volunteered, a place heavy with memories and raw beginnings. Marcus, ever insistent on shared escapes, had urged me to accompany him, assuring me that the drive to this rustic haven would help us both let go of past failures and hidden regrets. His voice, gentle yet determined over the phone, had carried an unspoken promise of renewal. We set off early, the highway stretching before us like a ribbon of possibilities. The urban sprawl slowly gave way to vast stretches of open land, dotted with clusters of wildflowers and framed by distant mountains. With every mile, the hum of the city faded into the soft murmur of nature. As we approached the winery, its time-worn stone facade and sprawling vineyards evoked a sense of nostalgia, drawing us into an atmosphere where history and secrets whispered in every breeze. On our route, fate detoured us to a modest restaurant nestled on the outskirts, a hidden gem away from the clamor of modern life. Inside, a local sommelier greeted us with a knowing smile. Over a shared meal, he spun captivating tales about ancient wine recipes passed down through generations. His stories hinted at deep family secrets and personal tragedies, fragments of a past interwoven with the very essence of the wine itself. Marcus listened intently, his eyes flickering with emotions that betrayed a history far more intricate than he'd ever admitted. Back at the winery, the setting shifted dramatically. In a quiet, secluded wine room lit only by the soft glow of vintage lamps, the air thickened with anticipation and vulnerability. Surrounded by barrels and the rich aroma of fermenting grapes, we began to peel back layers of our guarded pasts. Each shared confession, each trembling admission, felt like an unveiling of long-buried truths. The room pulsed with unspoken tension as our conversation took a more intimate turn. In a moment when words seemed futile, Marcus reached out, his hand finding mine with a resolute gentleness that belied the turmoil within him. The contact sparked an unexpected electricity, a silent acknowledgement of our shared scars and hopes. Without any preamble, our eyes locked, and the next instant blurred into a fervent, passionate kiss. It was brief, a fleeting collision of souls that carried both the sweetness of tentative healing and the bitter tang of uncertainty. As we slowly pulled away, a furtive, enigmatic glimmer danced in his eyes, hinting at secrets he wasn't ready to reveal. The ride back was filled with a quiet intensity, every mile steeped in the weight of that transformative moment. I realized that this kiss, charged with raw emotion, had irrevocably altered the delicate balance between us, opening a door to mysteries yet to be uncovered and setting our lives on a path that would demand even greater truths. Late last night, when the city was draped in an uneasy silence and neon reflections danced on rain-soaked pavement, I found myself wandering through the dimly lit common room of my penthouse. The soft hum of the city outside barely reached me as I noticed Marcus's laptop left ajar on the coffee table, a silent invitation I couldn't ignore. Driven by a mixture of curiosity and dread, I hesitated only a moment before flicking it open. What I discovered there would shatter the carefully constructed illusion of trust between us. On the screen lay a series of encrypted emails, carelessly hidden among mundane files, yet pulsing with a secret life of their own. I scanned through them and felt my heart tighten with every word. The messages, cloaked in coded language and half-truths, revealed confessions that spoke of clandestine meetings and an unnamed, mysterious woman whose name appeared like a ghost in every other line. The emails were raw and unfiltered, dripping with a vulnerability and deceit that forced me to confront a reality I had long feared. Marcus was leading a double life. The shock of that discovery ignited an inner turmoil I couldn't quell. Unable to bear the weight of these revelations alone, I reached out to Jordan, my longtime friend and a voice of cautious reason in moments like this. Over hushed phone calls and furtive late-night meetings, we dissected every cryptic sentence, trying to piece together a mosaic of lies and half-forgotten promises. Jordan's analytical mind and relentless questioning only deepened my unease as we traced subtle clues linking Marcus's past actions to this newfound deception. Determined to see the truth with my own eyes, I decided to follow him that same night. Cloaked by the darkness and the anonymity of shadowed streets, I trailed Marcus as he slipped silently out of the penthouse. The city's chaotic heartbeat receded as I watched him merge with the pulsating lights below, making his way toward a secluded speakeasy rumored to be frequented by those who trade in secrets. Hidden in a narrow side street, the venue's entrance was shrouded in mystery and faint jazz that seeped through closed doors. Peering through a rain-streaked window, I saw him meet the enigmatic woman, a figure whose poised elegance and cool demeanor contrasted sharply with the urgency in his eyes. Their whispered conversation, punctuated by fleeting touches and covert glances, confirmed every doubt that had been festering in my soul. In that charged moment, as I recorded every detail mentally, I realized that the digital shadows of his confessions were now cast into the living world. My trust was irreparably fractured, and the line between truth and betrayal blurred into a night of haunting revelations that promised to upend everything I thought I knew. The gallery buzzed with animated conversations and clinking glasses as I stepped into the art exhibition, its walls adorned with bold, provocative canvases that dared to challenge convention. I had come seeking solace in beauty, yet nothing could have prepared me for the collision of my past and present that was about to unfold. Amid the swirling crowd of art aficionados, my gaze landed on a figure whose presence sent a jolt through my already fragile heart. Andrew, Marcus's former lover. His disheveled appearance and the slight sway in his step betrayed a state of inebriated vulnerability, and in that moment, the gallery's vibrant energy seemed to freeze around us. Andrew's eyes, glassy and burdened with regret, met mine as he began to speak in a husky and steady tone. His words tumbled out in a confession that painted our recent quiet moments in an entirely different light. He recounted, with raw and unfiltered honesty, the passionate yet tumultuous affair he once shared with Marcus, a secret liaison marked by feverish intensity and reckless abandon. Each sentence he uttered unraveled layers of deception, exposing a history that I had never truly grasped. His narrative, laced with both longing and remorse, shattered the comforting illusions I had built around our relationship. I stood frozen, the hum of background chatter dimming as Andrew's revelations echoed in my ears. Every detail, the whispered promises, the clandestine meetings, the palpable tension, serve as a painful reminder that Marcus's charm had been a well-rehearsed performance, masking a much darker truth. Tears welled unbidden in my eyes as the weight of betrayal and hidden intrigues pressed down on me. I could feel the raw sting of every lie, every half-truth that had been once brushed off as mere eccentricities. Unable to remain among the throng any longer, I slipped away into a quiet alcove near a stark white wall, my thoughts spiraling into chaos. The gallery's vibrant colors blurred into a haze as I clutched my phone, each heartbeat echoing the magnitude of what I had just learned. That night, alone with my racing thoughts, I began to document every whispered word and every nuance of Andrew's confession in a leather-bound journal, a desperate attempt to capture a truth that now felt more like a labyrinth than a clear path. As the hours ticked by in sleepless solitude, I questioned every shared moment with Marcus, realizing that the intimacy we had nurtured was built on a foundation of carefully concealed betrayals. With each written line, the boundaries between passion and deceit blurred further, leaving me to confront a future that promised to be as unpredictable as it was painful. Determined to untangle the web of deceit, I set out into a cool, ink-black night armed only with my resolve and a restless curiosity. I trailed Marcus discreetly, my every step echoing in the deserted side streets of Los Angeles. His departure from the penthouse was deliberate yet hurried, and I kept a careful distance as he merged with the pulsating rhythm of the city. Shadows stretched long beneath neon signs, and each step he took pulled me deeper into an unfolding drama I was desperate to understand. I followed him to an imposing building marked only by a small, almost cryptic emblem. Inside, the muffled hum of hushed conversations and the clinking of glasses told of secret gatherings far removed from the everyday world. Marcus slipped through the entrance with an air of quiet authority, and I quickly melted into the anonymity of the darkness. In the dim glow of a narrow alley, I observed the building's heavy wooden door swing open to reveal a private club where influential figures mingled in a labyrinth of whispers and covert glances. Within the club's confines, tension was palpable. I found him amidst a small, tightly knit group, their words low and urgent, their expressions guarded. My eyes were immediately drawn to a striking woman standing apart from the rest, her style immaculate, her gaze as cold and calculating as a chess master's. She moved with a deliberate grace, and when Marcus approached her, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. Their conversation was a silent duel of veiled threats and underlying promises, punctuated by sharp, almost imperceptible gestures. I strained to catch their words, each hushed sentence revealing hints of old rivalries and new ambitions. My heart pounded as I watched the pair. Every subtle tilt of a head and every clenched fist deepened my suspicion that Marcus was more than a betrayed lover. He was entangled in dangerous liaisons where personal betrayal met high-stakes intrigue. With a final, heated exchange, Marcus and the mysterious woman slipped away to a more private area of the club, leaving behind a charged silence that hung heavy in the air. I retreated into the shadows, the weight of what I witnessed sinking in with every measured step. Later, in the subdued atmosphere of a quiet, dimly lit cafe, I met with Jordan. Over the soft clatter of coffee cups and the murmur of distant conversations, I recounted every detail of that fateful encounter. His eyes narrowed in concentration as he absorbed the gravity of my account. "This isn't just about a broken promise or a simple betrayal," he murmured in a tone that brooked no argument. "It's a game, a dangerous game of power, secrets, and hidden agendas. We need to be careful." Every word exchanged in that cafe felt like another piece of an intricate puzzle falling into place. The conversation was electric, laden with pointed questions and a desperate urgency to uncover every facet of Marcus's double life. As we deliberated, each new detail unraveled further layers of deception, hinting at far more than mere infidelity. In that charged moment, I knew the stakes were higher than my own wounded heart. They were about to shake the very foundations of everything I thought I understood. Leaving the cafe with a heavy mix of dread and resolve, I vowed that I wouldn't rest until every mask had been stripped away and every secret laid bare. The echoes of that clandestine night, whispers, threats, and the cold glare of hidden ambitions would guide me as I stepped back into the labyrinth of betrayal, determined to find the truth behind every carefully constructed facade. In the shimmering haze of the elite club, where crystal chandeliers cast dancing patterns on marble floors and a live jazz band set an intoxicating rhythm, I stepped forward with a resolve I hadn't felt in months. The club pulsed with an undercurrent of secrets and whispered scandals, its opulent decor and hushed conversations lending a surreal air to the evening. Tonight, I wasn't merely another guest in a lavish party. I was here to confront Marcus, the man who had shattered my trust and left a trail of unanswered questions in his wake. I spotted him near the bar, leaning against a reflective surface, as if lost in the echo of his own conflicted thoughts. His eyes, once bright with assurance, now flickered with an uncertain blend of defiance and remorse. I moved through the crowd, every step measured, every heartbeat a drum of determination. The murmurs of curious onlookers faded into a distant hum as I approached him, the tension between us mounting with every passing second. "Marcus," I said, my voice cutting through the ambient clatter of the club, "we need to talk now." My words, firm and resolute, drew the attention of those nearby, their hushed whispers lending a gravity to the moment. The air around us seemed to tighten, as if the space itself anticipated the explosion of long-suppressed truths. He turned to face me slowly, his eyes dark and laden with secrets. In that charged silence, our conversation erupted into a raw, unfiltered exchange. He confessed that his feelings for me were a twisted mix of genuine affection and the desperate need to soothe his own guilt over past transgressions. Every sentence he uttered was laced with regret, his tone oscillating between defensiveness and sorrow. I fired back questions that peeled away the layers of his carefully constructed facade, each query a scalpel cutting into the heart of our shared history. The dialogue, harsh and unrelenting, resonated with the clinking of ice in glasses and the soft strains of a mournful saxophone, underscoring the tragedy of our unraveling connection. Then, in a moment that defied logic, Marcus closed the distance between us and captured my lips in a forceful, desperate kiss. It wasn't tender but carried an overwhelming intensity, a paradox of longing and betrayal. For that brief, charged instant, the kiss became a symbol of our tangled past, a bittersweet reminder of both the passion we once nurtured and the deception that had driven us apart. All around us, whispers grew into a chorus of disapproval and intrigue. The scandal of our public confrontation rippled through the crowd, every sideways glance and hushed remark amplifying the pressure. In that charged arena of glittering elites and voyeuristic onlookers, our raw emotions played out like a spectacle, exposing our vulnerabilities for all to see. As our eyes met once again, the lavish surroundings blurred into insignificance. The confrontation left an indelible mark, a promise that from this night forward, nothing between us could ever return to what it once was. The echoes of our heated words and that tumultuous kiss would haunt both our futures, forever entangling us in a dance of love, betrayal, and irreversible change. Late that evening, I was preparing a quiet dinner in my penthouse dining room when the unexpected arrival of my mother shattered the fragile calm. The city's low hum and the gentle clink of cutlery faded into insignificance as the front door burst open with force. There, standing in the doorway with a storm of disapproval blazing in her eyes, was Janet, my mother, long admired for her unwavering moral compass, now a harbinger of judgment. Without a single greeting or pleasantry, she swept into the room and began a tirade that left no room for explanation. Her accusations were sharp and unyielding. I was nothing more than a naive fool, hopelessly in love with a man she deemed unworthy of our family's honor. Every sentence dripped with contempt as she condemned my choices and derided the idea that I could ever see beyond her rigid ideals. There was no softness in her voice, only the cold clarity of a woman determined to expose what she considered my deepest betrayal. The weight of her words pressed on me, each one slicing through the delicate layers of trust one had so carefully built. Before I could form a defense, the conversation veered into unexpected territory. With a voice quivering between anger and reluctant confession, my mother divulged a secret that rocked the very foundation of everything I believed about her. She revealed that in her youth, driven by passion and defiance, she had embarked on a torrid affair, a scandalous liaison she had hidden from everyone to preserve the image of unblemished virtue. Her admission came as a thunderbolt, shattering the illusion of an unassailable moral guardian and forcing me to confront the dark undercurrents that had long pulsed beneath our family's polished surface. Marcus, who had been silently present, stepped in to mediate the escalating storm. His calm interjections were quickly drowned out by my mother's fervent barrage. In a sudden, explosive clash, harsh words were exchanged between him and her, each remark revealing old wounds and fueling the fire of resentment. The dining room, once a haven for quiet dinners, transformed into a battleground where familial secrets and personal betrayals were laid bare. The clash of voices, punctuated by the shattering of fragile illusions, left an indelible scar on an evening meant for nourishment rather than confrontation. After the storm subsided and my mother departed in a huff, I was left alone amidst the wreckage of shattered ideals. In the ensuing silence, I realized that trust, once broken, leaves behind a residue of doubt that can erode even the strongest bonds. That night, as I stared into the empty remnants of our once-cherished family traditions, I understood that hypocrisy had always lurked behind the veneer of perfection, and that my own journey toward truth and responsibility had only just begun. The final blow came without fanfare, a moment when the cumulative weight of every betrayal and hidden secret coalesced into one devastating truth. I discovered that Marcus had not merely strayed, he had deliberately manipulated every tender, vulnerable part of me to serve his selfish ends. His covert liaisons, once obscured by promises and midnight confessions, now lay bare before me. The sting of this revelation left me feeling both shattered and strangely liberated. I could no longer remain tethered to a past defined by lies. Determined to reclaim my life, I left Los Angeles behind in search of solace and clarity. With a single suitcase and a fragile resolve, I embarked on a journey to San Francisco, a city renowned for its foggy mysteries and new beginnings. The long bus ride was a quiet meditation, each mile peeling away layers of deceit until only the raw truth remained. In that moving solitude, I began to recognize that my pain could be the catalyst for transformation rather than the end of all things. In San Francisco, I reconnected with old friends and forged unexpected bonds with new faces who exuded authenticity and hope. Wandering through sunlit streets and dimly lit alleys, I found moments of quiet conversation in bustling coffee shops and the gentle hum of evening bars. Every interaction, every shared smile or tear, slowly stitched the torn fabric of my spirit back together. I allowed myself to feel again, to embrace the possibility of healing and the promise of genuine connection, even as memories of past betrayals lingered like echoes in the background. One misty evening, as I strolled along the wharf with the distant murmur of water against the docks, I encountered a familiar face, a quiet observer who had once seen the complexities of my relationship with Marcus. His gentle yet unflinching words forced me to face my own reflections, the impact of my choices, the responsibility of my heart, and the need to let go of illusions that had long bound me to pain. In that vulnerable conversation, I understood that true growth demanded accountability and the courage to confront my inner demons. Upon returning home, I resolved to break free from the toxic bonds that had so long defined my existence. I organized an intimate farewell gathering with my new circle of friends, a night of shared stories, heartfelt laughter, and unguarded admissions. Each tale of loss and hope resonated deeply, a collective testament to the power of renewal. That evening, as I watched each person offer a piece of their soul, I realized that every lost illusion was simply a stepping stone toward a life built on honesty, love, and self-respect. With broken chains behind me and a future full of promise ahead, I stepped boldly into a new chapter, one where the past no longer dictated my worth, and redemption was mine to claim.